My sister 22 female walked in on me 25 female and our family friend 26 male hooking up. Now both of our families are congratulating us on our relationship. We're not dating. My parents are best friends with another couple. So our families have pretty much grown up with one another. So I've known Daniel 26 male my whole life. There has always been this running joke between our families that me and him will one day get married and we'll all be a real family. When I was 16 our parents actually tried to make us go on a date. It was very awkward and from that day we had our own joke that we could never date each other even if we were the last two people on earth. Last year, my relationship with my then boyfriend ended, and Daniel was also single. We ended up becoming friends with benefits with the agreement that we wouldn't let anyone in our families figure it out. We've been doing this for about a year now and things have been good until now. Yesterday we were hooking up at my apartment and my sister caught us in the act. She had the biggest grin on her face and when we tried to explain it wasn't what she was thinking she just kept nodding and saying, Not even 20 minutes after she left my mom starts texting me congratulations and telling me she couldn't believe we were finally dating and asking how long Daniel had been my boyfriend. The problem is we aren't dating and have no intention of starting anytime soon. The rest of our families have since been making jokes in our joint group chat and my dad even called Daniel to have a chat about his intentions. He just played along. This whole thing is super embarrassing. But it would be worse if we admit we're just FCK buddies. Reddit, give me a good excuse for what my sister saw. And since I've made this post, how can we make both of our families understand we are never going to date and they should drop the fantasy? Too long didn't read. My sister caught me and our family friend hooking up. She's since told everyone we're dating. We aren't. No. There's no appropriate lie here. What you should do is state that you're not dating and your personal life isn't up for discussion or debate. Anytime it's brought up, shut down the conversation immediately. If that means hanging up or walking away going home, do that. If that means leaving the group chat, do that. Your sexual activity is no one's business at your age. And if you're still living with these people, it's time to start working on that too. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but Daniel and I are not dating and have no intentions of dating. Please understand this and stop asking about it. It's uncomfortable that you keep pushing this. You don't need to explain yourselves. Just be firm and clear, and if people try to keep bringing it up, just say you are not going to keep talking about it. You two have been hooking up for a year. Are you two dating anyone else in the meantime with the goal of looking for an actual commitment? I think you and Daniel are so opposed to being pushed into a relationship and you don't want your families to be right about you two, so you act like it's just an F-buddy situation. While it's totally possible there's no feelings of attachment after a year, it's not likely. Maybe you two should revisit the idea of each other as a potential partner. Date for a second, and if it doesn't work out, tell the family that you two broke up but are still on good terms. I mean, you'll have to be because your families are so close. Second story. I 30 female caught my husband 31 male in an affair and I don't know how to move on. I've suspected things had been going on for a while, but kept brushing it off. I thought he would never do that to me. Since around April, he's been refusing my attempts to have sex most of the time. Sitting differently on the couch to where he's facing away from me. Little things. It's with one of our good friends. She came to my house a few weeks ago. She's texted me. She's pretended to be there for me. I found out because I rolled over and they were having a Snapchat conversation. She said she wished she could be there to hold him, and he summarized that I tried to seduce him last night and mocked it. I confronted him and he admitted it. He said that it was because quarantine was stressful. He does not want to work things out. He thinks of me only as a friend in his heart. When I told her husband, he confronted her and apparently they actually kissed back in February. I think at that moment, I was never going to be enough for him. We used to be so happy. The week before they kissed, we celebrated Valentine's Day together. He bought us a nice bottle of wine for our anniversary. We had fun. We were perfect. I don't know where to go from here. We've been married only about a year. I feel like he took so much from me and doesn't even want to go to therapy or work this out. I don't want to leave my house, but everywhere in it I see him. He chose her. I've been cheated in every relationship I've ever been in. He was supposed to be my forever. I don't know what to do. I've made therapy appointments, but I was also laid off last month. So I have too much free time to analyze every single moment where he might have been lying to me or where I made myself pathetic trying to cling to him. How do I start to get through this? Too long didn't read. My husband had an affair and does not want to try to work out our marriage. I feel like I'm drowning and don't know how to start moving on. Update. First of all, I just want to thank everyone here for the support I received following my first post back in August. At the time, it truly felt like my world was ending. It was important to me to make this update because I need to tell anyone who's currently going through the same thing: it gets better. You will get so much better. I had one conversation with my husband since everything happened by his choice. It lasted maybe 5 minutes and was like talking to a robot. I know from others that he cries to people about how he ruined his life, but I have never once gotten an apology or the same show of regret. At this point, I don't care. I know him and the other woman are still seeing each other, and frankly, they deserve each other. Good for them. While I still feel angry occasionally, I no longer mourn what I once had. Instead, I'm so excited for the life I now get to live. I moved to a small walkable city and gave myself my dream apartment. It makes me so happy to see how I've decorated it and to just live in a cozy place instead of our old dreary house. I was the breadwinner in our marriage, and he would make me feel awful about wanting to pay for nice meals or do fun things. Since moving here, I've done a ton of foodie fun stuff and don't feel guilty. It's so refreshing. I have dipped my toe into the dating pool again and had plenty of mediocre dates from dating apps. Recently, I found someone who I've really clicked with and am enjoying how appreciated and desired he's made me feel. It's definitely early and we're moving slow, but overall, dating has made me realize that I'm a catch who doesn't have to settle. Therapy has done wonders and I'm so happy I immediately dove into it. My therapist is proud of me. I'm proud of me. I've stopped looking at being divorced as a failure. He failed, not me. I'm genuinely happy and excited to wake up each morning and no longer feel like this terrible weight is sitting on my chest. The holidays were surprisingly easy and I found myself so happy to spend time with my family without having to compromise anything. So all in all, life is good and there's so much of it ahead. Looking back, I can't believe I wasted so much time thinking about how I could get him to come home. I've made my own home and my own happiness, and that is worth so much more. Too long didn't read husband left me for another woman. He sucks. But things get better. Third story. My 24 female boyfriend 26 male has a longtime female friend who's clearly into him and I don't know what I should do. This is gonna sound like typical insecure girlfriend, but I promise it's not like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 6 months and he's really great. He has a friend that he's had for years who is a girl. Normally, I am not the type to be all like you're not allowed to hang out with a single girl alone. But I am considering telling my boyfriend that he's not allowed to hang out with this girl alone. This girl is obviously so into him and she def wants me to know she's coming for him. She keeps saying stuff like you don't know him like I do yet. We used to go to that place together all the time long before you guys started dating. Oh my god Josh, remember when we went on a hike just the two of us? That was the best day. She also had cute pet names for him, but I didn't like that, so as soon as I heard it I told my boyfriend I didn't like it and he made her stop. I asked her straight up if she's into him and her response pissed me off so much. She was like, I know it's intimidating how close he and I are, but don't worry, you're the girlfriend, I am just a friend, right? With a smug smile on her face. I got so mad but I couldn't talk to my boyfriend about it. I want to tell him to cut her out of his life so bad, but I don't know if I can do that. My boyfriend's dad passed away 2 years ago with a heart condition. He told me that his dad was his best friend growing up, so it hit him really hard. He was the only family my boyfriend had. Apparently, this girl really helped him get through it. She apparently was there for him throughout the whole thing. That's why he says she's like a sister to him. That's why I don't know what to do. I already asked him to set some boundaries, like she can't text late at night or come over to his place unannounced all the time and no interrupting our alone time. My boyfriend doesn't realize that she's into him and I kinda don't blame him on that one, because all of her flirts are subtle enough that he doesn't realize, but enough to get me riled up. I know my boyfriend isn't into her at all and he's completely friend-zoned her, but it's still so frustrating. I hate to admit it, but she's so good at getting under my skin and I don't know what to do. I really need some advice. Thanks Reddit. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the advice. I've decided that I will tell my boyfriend everything she's done so far and see how he handles it. To be honest, I was hoping I'd avoid telling my boyfriend about it, but she left me no choice. In the meantime, I don't know how I'll bring it up to my boyfriend, but I'll figure it out. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend's longtime female friend is clearly into him and she's letting me know in a subtle passive-aggressive way. I need advice on how best to handle this. Update. After reading the comments, I decided to just bring it up with him without telling him what I want him to do, to avoid sounding controlling. I sat him down and told him that some of the stuff that she says really makes me uncomfortable. I told him that I feel like she's undermining our relationship. I gave him a few examples of the stuff she said and done that I didn't appreciate. He still doesn't think she's into him. He's convinced that she's acting this way because she probably feels like they're drifting apart as friends because he's in a serious relationship now. Which frustrated me a little, to be honest, because it's clear to me that she wants him but being subtle about it. He said that regardless of her intentions, if her actions are making me uncomfortable, he'll have a talk with her about it. I was really happy he said that, because I was really nervous and anxious to see how he'll react. I was afraid he'll take her side. He can be a dummy sometimes, so I was worried that he'd bring it up with her in the wrong way. Like saying my girlfriend doesn't want us talking anymore and stuff like that, but he nailed it. He told her in a text, dude, I noticed some of the stuff you've been saying in front of my girlfriend lately and I've been wanting to talk to you about it. It's mad disrespectful and uncomfortable. We're cool. But just stop that st. Naturally, she acted all innocent and confused. She was like, what? You know I'd never do anything that would upset you. I think you're misunderstanding and stuff like that. He doubled down on it though. I could tell he felt somewhat guilty telling her off like that, and I don't know if he's convinced that she's trying to undermine our relationship or not. But I am so glad that he had my back in this. I am honestly kind of glad this whole thing happened. It gave me a better idea of what kind of man he really is. He even said he'll stop hanging out with her alone if it makes me feel uncomfortable. He was also low-key mad at me for waiting this long to tell him I was uncomfortable around her. Safe to say that the best possible outcome happened. He really put her in her place, and NGL it made me feel real good. All I could think of was I won. Laughing my butt off. Thanks to everyone for encouraging me to tell him, because even though I knew that's what I should have done, I was still scared to do it for some reason. I even thought about potentially just avoiding her for good. Which sounds ridiculous now that I think about it. Because I shouldn't have to hide from her. I guess I am just not good at confrontations. Thanks for the helpful advice, everyone. Too long didn't read. I told my boyfriend that his friend's actions were making me uncomfortable because she's clearly into him and she's undermining our relationship. He let her know that she has to stop and totally had my back during the whole thing. All in all, everything turned out pretty great. Thanks to everyone for the great advice. Fourth story. Boyfriend who won't stop comparing me to his dead wife. Hello. I 29 female understand the title is a little callous, but my boyfriend 35 male won't stop comparing me to his dead wife. She passed 5 years ago. And they've been married for about 2 years. She passed unexpectedly from a car crash is what I am told. My boyfriend and I have been seriously dating since 2019. And moved in together this year. I moved into his home. The same one he had with her. Please understand. I have no ill will towards her. I just can't help personally feeling like shit every time she's brought up. I am constantly being compared to her. And it feels like there are 3 people in this relationship. If I cook dinner, he tells me about how she had this perfect marinade. And oh, how much he wished she told him about it. If I want to play any sort of co-op game with him, he brings her up and all the cute things she did in game. It's not even things she was better at than me. I accidentally stained a blue button up with bleach. He mentions how she once accidentally turned his whites pink. I hate it. I hate being here. My ducking heart hurts every time this happens. I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. I've brought it up to him so many times that it hurts me, that it bothers me. And it goes either of 2 ways. He apologizes, but then continues to do it after a while, or he accuses me of being jealous, not letting him grieve and lament her passing. There was only one time where he directly compared us. It was when we first started going out 6 months in, I think. And we got into an argument and he said she would have never done this. Why are you being so difficult? It ducking gutted me. He apologized later. And a bunch of our mutual friends mentioned how it was a slip in the heat of anger and that he still cares for the wife since she died so abruptly recently. I just want to leave, but I can't help but feel that if I do, I'll be labeled as an overly jealous woman. He is not a private person. He airs out everything. And I also feel as if people won't be understanding. Like, she's dead. She won't be coming back. I just don't know how to break up with him. Do I lie? Do I say anything else? I have no idea. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend keeps comparing me to his girlfriend to the point it bothers me. I want to break up, but given his personality, I can't help but think he'll spread the reason behind the breakup around and I'll be negatively labeled. How to break up? Hit like. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to our channel.